Honorable Governor Shri Vora Sahab, Honorable Governor for Andhra and Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Narasimhanji, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I think we all know that terrorism is the biggest threat that the whole world is facing at this point of time. But unfortunately, the countries who are fighting terrorism are not fighting together. And it is something that we are, fighting each other. There's a shadow boxing going on between the various superpowers to, get the, hegemony over the world. And it started with Afghanistan, with the invasion of Russia. And that was the first time Islam was used as a tool between believers and non-believers by, no less than a superpower like America along with Pakistan. And till date, we are, feeling the brunt of that, believers and non-believers. And now today, it has been taken to a next level where in Syria, the same shadow boxing is going on, shadow fights is going on between America and Russia. And now they are fighting between Shias and Sunnis. And it is Iraq and Yemen and all other countries. But I would come to my own country that we are also been facing terrorism, and there is again this kind of shadow boxing going on between us and China and Pakistan and so and so. And though we have been trying so hard for so many years now to, declare certain people, certain groups who have really inflicted a lot of pain on us as unwanted terrorists, but again China comes to the rescue. So I think we are all fighting terrorism, but we also have our good and bad, terrorists to protect and fight against. And governance, though, is very important. I mean, I agree, I fully endorse whatever Mr. Narasimhan has said, but governance alone cannot fight terrorism, because governance, as per my experience is concerned, it is the first casualty of a terrorist attack, because your whole energies are focused, instead of being on development, good governance, they get focused on maintaining law and order. Securing the life and property of the people becomes your first and foremost duty. So unfortunately, governance goes for a toss. And, I mean, from the experience that I have seen when my father was a chief minister in 2000, from 2002 November till 2005, we experienced that it has to be a combination. It has to be a multi-pronged strategy, redressal of problems, because any issue, any grievance, any conflict, if it is left unaddressed, if it is left open, it's like a wound. It gets infected, and then there is gangrene at the last, and you have to amputate the whole, part of the body. So I have seen that when he came to power in 2002, and Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was heading the NDA government in Delhi, there was a, proper harmony between the two leaderships. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he understood, the pain of the conflict in J&K state. He tried to address not only the internal dimension, but also the external dimension. He went, so many times he went, many steps ahead to meet Pakistan, whether it was taking a bus to Lahore, which I personally know. The same night, 7 young boys were killed just to sabotage his, Lahore visit. But he still went ahead. Then Kargil happened. He still invited the Pakistani president to Goa. To Agra. Sorry, I'm so sorry. And again, we had an attack on the parliament. We had, both the countries mobilized their forces on the borders. But ultimately, he once again, gave a great message of friendship to Pakistan at that point of time. And that also from the very soil of J&K, Kashmir, Srinagar, which is the heart of J&K. And he not only gave a very, great message, but also in the language that the Kashmiris understood. He quoted our saints, our poets, like he quoted Nundaresh. He quoted, Sheikh Nuruddin Wali Rahmatullahi Allah, whom we call with love Nundaresh. He quoted Laldet. He quoted Mahjur while trying to, touch a chord with the people who had come to receive him. There were 30 to 40,000 people, and 90% of them were the youngsters who had come to receive him, to listen to him. And when he said that I am ready to extend my hand of friendship with Pakistan, which was reciprocated, fortunately, from the other side, we had a ceasefire that lasted for many, many, many years. We had a dialogue process. For the first time, we had a team of SACMA, the journalists coming from Pakistan, visiting Srinagar, going around, and when they went back, they told the president at that point of time, and Musharraf. They told him that, in Kashmir, what we think, it's not like that, because unfortunately, media creates its own picture. It's a different story. And that is when Musharraf said, United Nations resolutions, are not important anymore. We need to fulfill the aspirations of people of Kashmir, and rest of India, and people of Pakistan. And he also agreed when Vajpayee ji visited Lahore, he also promised that the soil of Pakistan will not be used against, India, and infiltration came down. We had a window of peace. All this had an impact, because my father had, again, Vajpayee ji was the first prime minister who not only said but also ensured a free and fair election, though we got only 16 seats in 2002 elections. It was not about the numbers, it was the credibility. My father became the chief minister. We had a common minimum program with Congress that we are going to do this, 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 this. Only then we can form a government, we can come together. And that common minimum program became the basis of, became the foundation to change the whole narrative in J&K state, not only internally as well as in Pakistan. We assured people that if we come together, we are going to revoke POTA. POTA was a draconian law. In addition to ESPA, you had POTA, that if any militant was caught in a house, if there were even civilians there, you have to blast it. If, you had a suspicion about any women being involved in any kind of anti-national, just a suspicion, you have to, arrest that girl, even she's a girl or a woman or whatever. So we revoked ESPA. We made it a point in our common minimum program that there has to be a dialogue, internal with all the stakeholders, externally, because we can, as Vajpayee ji rightly said, we can change our, friends, but not our neighbors. Geography we can't change. They are there to stay. So we need to accept it and see how well we can have a relationship, a working relationship with them, at least, a cordial, a decent relationship, because we are the people of Jammu and Kashmir are the worst sufferers. So we took all those measures. I remember my father announcing from Baramulla when Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was sitting there and Vajpayee ji was in Delhi. He said, why can't we open these routes to the other part of Kashmir? Why do we need, guns and grenades from the other side? Why can't, Apple go from this side and money come from that side? And that is when Vajpayee ji started doing the spade work for Muzaffarabad Road. And it became a reality when, there was UPA government. But unfortunately, it did not last long. Because when we talk of good governance is an important thing. We got an opportunity because a good feel-good factor was created with all these, revocation of POTA, then Vajpayee ji's visit. Then he also gave us a package for the Poniwalas who had suffered a lot because of the militancy. Many, many things combined together. Many confidence-building measures. We stopped crackdowns. You can well imagine when there is -2, 3, 4 degrees temperature and people are asked to come out of their homes and sit outside till their houses are searched. So we stopped all those things. So we took certain measures, and that gave us a window to show our good governance. I remember my father started anti-encroachment drive at that point of time. All the illegal construction. And you can't imagine that the people themselves came forward and they started demolishing their houses wherever encroachment had taken place. I remember one of our ministers was killed during that time. and we had to fight election in Pampur. And with those anti-encroachment drive, Pampur had become like a Tora Bora because all the shops had been demolished. When I had gone for campaign during the day, I came back, I called my father, I said, Dad, I don't know, we're not going to win this seat because Pampur looks more like Tora Bora. He said, I'm not going to do anything about it. We have to do what is to be done. And I know that a girl who was standing on the road, when our opponents came, they told her, look what Mufti has done to your village. He has demolished all the houses and everything. Are you going to vote for his candidate? She said, he's not going to take this road to his home. This is for us. So, good governance, military action, very important, but they alone cannot resolve any problem. They alone cannot counter terrorism. We need to build a constituency of peace. And for that, we have to, address the issues, the grievances, the conflicts through political processes, confidence-building measures. Again, at this point of time, even at that point of time, it was my father. During his tenure, that Kashmiri Pandits got more confidence. They started visiting Tulmula in huge numbers. And he was the one who started building transit accommodations in Sheikhpura, Badgam, in Anantnag, Matan, in Tulmul, Gandarbal. He was the one. And nobody made any hue and cry about it. It was a very normal part of the whole governance process. Once again, at this point of time, the election has been there. The election was ensured by Vajpayee ji. That was a credible election. It was seen to be a credible election because unfortunately, one of the reasons for the present conflict is 87 elections which were rigged. Sayyid Salahuddin was one of the candidates who is heading, the unifying, some command there in Pakistan. Yasin Malik was his agent. So, Vajpayee ji's ensuring 2002 and free and fair election was a milestone in the history of Jammu and Kashmir. Now again with this election we got a mandate, BJP got 25 seats in Jammu, we got 28 in Valley. So we came together with this hope that whatever was left by Vajpayee, it will be taken forward. Because after the change of power in J&K in 2005 and coming after Vajpayee ji's, after this UPA government came in power in center, the political process, the confidence building measures, which were starting during those 3 years, from 2002 to 2004 or 5, it was taken forward for some time by the UPA government, but ultimately everything came to a standstill. The dialogue process started with Shri L.K. Advani ji as a deputy prime minister was stopped. The roads which were opened during, first years of UPA with the other side of Kashmir, nothing happened. It was a barter system. Only families could, meet each other. My father's vision was that it should go beyond barter system. There should be a banking system. Everybody should be able to go. Because he told me when he went to receive the people from other side of, Kashmir on November, I think it was in April 2005, the first thing they asked him, Mufti Sahab, kya hum yahan namaz padh sakte hain? This is the, misconception. Hum yahan namaz, he said you can offer namaz in anywhere. It is not like that. That means the misconception that is on the other side is huge. So we need to take we need to open new roads, and take it to the second level so that anybody, anytime can go and see what is happening there and they can come and see what is happening here. The misconception is still there. I went to Umrah some times back and we met many Pakistanis there. I don't know when anybody is here from Pakistan. And they told me, my sister was with me, Ruby, she's living in Chennai. They told her, we heard that there is can you offer namaz in J&K? She said, what are you talking about J&K? I'm in Chennai, and when I get up in the morning, I hear azan from all 5 sides. So this kind of misinformation, disinformation is all the time there, and unfortunately media is not helping us because they are too busy in getting some, generals with mustaches, some generals from the other side with beards, and they keep on fighting each other. God. And we Kashmiris, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, get sandwiched in between the two. Because both of them, they are just breathing fire from both the sides. And we don't know where to hide at that point of time, And the TRPs are going up. Because they feel that is the only way to be nationalist. I don't think so. We need to reach out to people, and that we can't because, I mean, let's not shy away from this fact that majority of the Pakistani people are not against us. The Pakistani public is not against us. The Indian public is not against Pakistan. It is the establishments who are most of the time in a fighting mode. So with this election again, we formed a government with BJP. We had an agenda of alliance, and I'm happy to say that agenda of alliance has become a very, it has become a common minimum program for the whole country, because every party is talking about agenda of alliance. Again, what did we put in agenda of alliance? It was my father's, vision. He had been the home minister of this country, and he has been a mainstream politician from the very go. He started his mainstream political career in Kashmir when it was a taboo. He came straight from Aligarh and became a mainstream politician. Because at that point of time, being a mainstream politician, believing in Indian democracy was like being a non-Muslim, a kafir. There was social boycott against, those families who, went to mainstream politics. But he stood by it because he was a great believer in Indian democracy. So he had the experience of, what India is and what, we the Kashmiris, what are our aspirations. That's why first he had a common minimum program with Congress, which we were able to implement, and the results were for everybody to see. And then we had this agenda of alliance with BJP, wherein we should not shy away from talking about revocation of ESPA when things improve. Why not? We don't shy away when situation goes bad. We don't shy away from calling for more forces. We ask army to be more proactive. But when the situation improves, we should not shy away from the fact that we need to start revocation of ESPA from, some places and see what is the impact. We need to start, moving security forces camps with the improvement of situation back to the barracks, so that the places, the gardens, the orchards that are with them, we are able to make parks out of that, so that we are able to see that our kids, as my brother Tasadduq says, that we want to see our kids, chasing birds and bees and butterflies rather than, stones in their hands. This is a part of our agenda of alliance. Our part of agenda of alliance is that Indus Water Treaty is detrimental to the interest of J&K, as both our country, India and Pakistan, benefit out of it. Why can't we have transfer of our power projects to the state, which are with NHPC? Because somebody needs to compensate us. We don't expect Pakistan to do that. We expect our own country to do that. So there are so many things in agenda of alliance, opening up new routes. Kargil Askardu, we have been, China, Pakistan, they have this, economic corridor, CPAC. So why can't we change the discourse, the narrative of our relationship between India, Pakistan, and China? Why can't we be partners to that CPAC? Because after all, Jammu Kashmir was it was a roadway, it was a gate to Central Asia and South Asia before 1947. And why should our country not benefit out of that? Why can't we have that? So I heard that Pakistan is ready to, they have offered that we can become a part of that CPAC. Why can't we move ahead? Why can't we go beyond, all this, skirmish that's going on all the time? So again, we have this agenda of alliance, and we are hopeful that we'll start working on it. But at the same time, as far as governance is concerned, I said earlier also, it's very important. We can't do without that. But then we need to have some kind of peace, some kind of conducive atmosphere. My state it's a tourist state. Any untoward incident in any corner of the state. Today there is an encounter going in one part of the state, but it doesn't affect the whole state. But the way the media plays it, everybody thinks that maybe the whole Kashmir is on fire. It isn't so. Rest of the Kashmir is much more secure than any part of our country, especially for women. But then, what do we do? Well, when the government's job is to build schools, roads, buildings, and when unrest is there, the schools are burned down. The buildings are burned down. They don't allow us to build roads. So I am not here addressing the central government. I am addressing here the people of India. I need their help to give me that opportunity, to give me that window of peace wherein I can build on and consolidate the gains of peace which we have gained over all these years from 1989, we have been fighting this militancy there. We need to, fight it together. I just can't do it alone. And I just can't do it just by military means or just by, police force, or just by talking about good governance or building roads. We need to build bridges between us and the people of the state. We need to have a dialogue with everybody, as was done by Atal Bihari Vajpayee Sahab. And I'm sure our present Prime Minister, who has the moral authority and who believes, in doing whatever he believes is right, and otherwise demonetization, everybody was criticizing it, but he went ahead with it. So I think we have a bold leadership at this point of time. And many prime ministers have come, they have gone, they have done their job. And at this point of time, the most popular prime minister in Kashmir is Vajpayee ji. Nehru, Indira ji, they were, loved at some point of time, but today nobody talks about them. It is Vajpayee. Even the opposition people, be it congressmen, Communist Party, everybody talks about Vajpayee line on Kashmir. They talk about Vajpayee line on Kashmir. So if our Prime Minister at this point of time, he has assured us many a times he is also going to adopt that line. And that line isn't as if, even the separatists talk about Vajpayee line. They know Vajpayee never, handed Kashmir to anybody else on a platter. It wasn't like that. But he tried to reach out. He tried to reach out. He tried to ease the pain. He tried to tell Kashmiris, I am going to give you an honorable way out of this present situation. Not through force. I mean, you have these young kids throwing stones. What do you do with them? We have already used spell guns, grenades, tear gases against these kids. We can't go on like this. We have to reach out to them. They are a part of us. They are a part of India. Kashmir is it's a jewel in the crown of India. So we all together, all of us together have to, help us in regaining that jewel. And at the same time, I'm hopeful that our worthy Prime Minister, who I already said he has a moral authority, he has the vision, and he always thinks ahead, is definitely going to, take forward the process that was started by Atal Bihari Vajpayee and take it forward, be it, talking to the other side. And of course, Pakistan will also have to abide by their promise, their commitment which was made to Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, because they also talk about his line. They also talk about his tenure. So they will have to abide by their commitment that there is going to be no infiltration, that they are not going to use the soil of Pakistan against India. They will also have to do that. So, as I said earlier also, I will need everybody's help, and I am trying my best. What I did when I assumed power, I was there for 3 months, and we started removing these vendors from the footpaths. They were in thousands. I started from Srinagar, and people were so happy about it. But when unrest was there, the same vendors came on the roads, and we could not stop them. I mean, we introduced smart classes in classrooms wherein our students can, communicate with the world outside. But these very schools were burned down. So what could I do at that point of time? So my point is that we need to have a political process in place, confidence-building measures in place, so that we in Kashmir get a window of opportunity for good governance. Because if there is good governance, the space for sport base of terrorists gets shrunk. It gets shrunk. So for that, I also need the help of the country, help of this government and everybody. And media, I would also request that please give us a chance. Please give us a chance. The image you are projecting of my country, India, is not is not true. India is a great country, it's a democracy. For us, it's a universe, it's not a country. Puri dunya hai Hindustan. Jahan har mazhab, har rang, har nasl ke log, har zaat ke log ikathe rehte hain. But the way you project it, it is either the muche wala or the dadi wala. It's not like that. It's a great country. Thank you so much.